Right, it's the coming together of unity and love.
No, dearest one. You said it was to do with what my heart wanted, but you see, it isn't one heart or one desire or one soul or one anything anymore. Individually, it's the oneness of all. So it makes no difference what I truly desire, for I will be there. It is what you all desire that is so important, because you are transmuting the energies of the divine nature upon the planet. You are the ones that are in the driver's seat and have your hands on the steering wheel. You've lost focus of the power that you hold, dearest ones, but as we above honor you and continue to push your growth in your understanding, in your consciousness, in your awareness, to allow your hearts and your soul and your mind to be more open, to be in the flow of the moment. All of these things are vital steps for moving and staying always in the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensional frequencies. And you can see those changes within you. The light workers can definitely see those changes within them. And in looking upon those special gifts of the divine nature that they have worked for, that is part of the experience, is your part in it. Your experience. You are creating. You are creators. You are creator gods. You are human angels. There are so many entitled, beautiful expressions of who you are. And you are still so limited, although you are so close to the final transformation of all-knowing. And in that final transformation of all-knowing, dearest ones, is the difference between night and day. You will not find your answers in the same way. That which is important for you today to hear or to feel will not be the same. The way you answer the call of what you are responsible for will not be the way that you would grab your coat and hat and get into your cars today. The way you feed your bodies will be totally different. The way that you recognize your brother and sisters will be totally different. The air will be very, very light and soft. Everyone will be coming from their heart. There will be no fear. There will be no anxiousness. There will be no questioning. For all will be recognized in each moment as the perfect vibrational harmonies coming together. So we admire you coming up with all sorts of ways of seeing the outcome and how this wonderful experiment is going to be played out. But you will never know until that moment when the divine gift is displayed in such a magnificent way for you to witness. Then you will know. So once again we come to you, dearest ones. We come to you to say, enjoy. Just enjoy this time. Enjoy your recognition of change within. Enjoy the conscious awareness where all illusions start to fade and crack and turn into the light. You are turning into light. Every step, every corner, every room of you is being found and turned into light. And where the old resists, we have our ways, dearest ones. We will move them when you ask for it to be moved. There are layers upon layers, not only within you but also without you. On so many grids there are so many layers that need to be peeled away, and it has started, dearest ones. It started a long, long time ago, when the original plan of Earth mission was laid upon the table. It started. Your work has not begun. Not really. Even those that are in the forefront are not really out there. But in the days and the weeks to come, and the changes come forth with the announcements, your work, you will be awakened to your new mission, the newest phase of your newness. Because if I say mission, you have always been on a mission, my dear. From the very first lifetime to this being the very last lifetime, it has all been referred to as a mission. So we need to come up with a new word for that which awaits us in that divine magnificence.
Adventure?
Well, indeed there will be adventure, but it is so much further, far-fetching in an understanding of newness that I'm not sure you would be capable of coming up with the correct modality of expression right now. But it will come, and we don't need it right now. So there it is. Coming back to the moment, this is the biggest transition, my dear, that all those upon the planet, even those of the light, have ever experienced. We have scribes that are making sure that everything is documented in the moment, so that after the victory has physically been experienced, we have all the details to reconstruct this exact same experience and improve upon it on other planetary systems. For indeed, normally when we work with an ascended planet, it is that planet that is the ascension focus. In this particular case, it is galaxies that are actually transmuting and transcending as Earth and her people and her star people move and direct. You see, that's a good word, a direct. You are creators. You direct the energies to a higher state of frequency, allowing the full consciousness and awareness to come in so easily. And that is the way that it is. You see, it's a process. It's not difficult. It is only difficult if you are indeed jumping from a very low step to a very high step. But if you take all the steps and all the process and all the whatever. Should it be waiting? All right, that could be a step. Could it be launching forward? Yes, that could be another step. Could it be a rise in consciousness? Oh, yes, it could. Could it be releasing the old? Oh, yes, it could. So it is not like you are waiting really for the heavens to open up at the top of the stairs, for the whole staircase is indeed part of heaven. And you are gracefully taking step after step after step in ease and grace. To the point now that many of those of the light do not recognize a frequency shift because they are so one with the experience that to them it feels totally normal. That is also happening. Beautiful things are happening all over the world. And through your internet, it is being brought to the consciousness and being shared with many. The love that the animals are now showing, the expressions and the acts of the children are now out there to be viewed. Laughter comes from many of these shared posts. Much consciousness is coming through the internet, not to be judged whether it is disinformation or misinformation or information, but just to plant a seed. No matter how it is received, no matter how it is watered, that is the Father's seed. And He does His own watering. So we are very grateful to the technology that you do have. And we are always grateful to see when it is used properly and not abused. But at the moment, there are still those that are holding a lower third-dimensional vibrational frequency along with a mindset and conscious awareness that goes along and precedes that. So that duality, even after many shifts of energy and newness being brought forth along with the truth, is not going to be wholly accepted or invited or welcomed. For change, when you have lived millennium of lifetimes and been programmed and programmed and programmed to fear change, or to look beyond the words or the expression of what is being told to you, and not really know the truth, because you have gotten worn down, you're tired, you're so focused on just getting through each week, paying the bills, having enough money for a birthday cake, putting gas in the car, heaven forbid an animal gets sick. You're so busy. They have created a life that has you so busy that it takes great inner strength to sit down and say, I've had enough. This is not any way that I was created to live. My Father loves me more than this. And then start to ask, dearest ones, what it is you want. And start seeking out those of like-mindedness and those that have chosen to speak their truth, to share their wisdom, and if not, to turn your head and your heart into another direction, certainly, dearest ones, to allow them to be opened to other opportunities of thought, other opportunities of possibilities. What ifs are even a good place to start. What if? Rest now, dearest ones. Enjoy these holiday seasons, these days of joy and laughter and grace and gifting. And be aware of that which you are experiencing. Do not focus so much on those around you. For even in focusing upon them in respect to your experience is a form of judgment. No more judgment, dearest ones. So focus on self. Focus on understanding your experiences symbolically, numerology, in so many ways. This experience of life never stops for a second in manifesting a new moment. And I know, dearest ones, that you do not wish to miss one moment. And as your hearts open, as your hearts expand, allow yourself to know in those moments that you are connecting and expanding and enlarging all experiences of the heart upon the planet. Know when you have a good thought, a very, very good thought, that it affects all negative energies and transmutes them to something just a little bit better. Know when you love an animal, you love all that species. You're in a very wonderful, a very delicate, to a certain degree fragile moment in time. Because there is a certain amount of you, in order to still facilitate your responsibilities upon the surface, to stay within that physical density, to allow that, dearest ones. Yet you are moving so rapidly into a parallel matrix of energies that are taking you far, far away, far greater, into total consciousness and understanding and clarity, to be able to think, to react from the heart, to hear from the heart. Who ever heard of such a thing? To hear from the heart. But you all have done such an amazing job now. You are all so sensitive to energies. You are all so beautiful. And we in the heavens, in the higher dimensions, just are in awe of you. Yes, we are also great in ourselves, but you have come through an experience that even we, even I, did not go through. You have lived these last lifetimes in accelerated speed of pushing consciousness upon you, for raising the frequencies during each activation with the hopes that each time we might be able to release a little bit more of the chains that held you to the third dimensional life. And it's funny for me to use that word life in comparison to the old 3D way. For the old 3D way, so filled with corruption and lies and deceit, manipulation, torture. And then moving into the new, which is literally the opposite, where love and light and compassion and acceptance and allowance in beauty and heartfelt thoughts, words, deeds, and actions will be the norm. With a vitality and a youthfulness that is going to astound you. Just to have full consciousness again, dearest ones, will be so wondrous for us. To really be able to take you into and embrace you and know that you know who you are. And who I am, and who we are, and what experiences have we had, and how have we supported each other through so much of the past. That dearest one will be so special. That will be so special for me. For I have played the mother, but just like any role. Yes, my role had me working with the children. My role was working on a love frequency. My role now is working with the light workers who were the children who I originally worked with upon the planet. Full circle, dearest ones. What an honor for me. Can you imagine teaching a child in kindergarten and then years later being given the honor of teaching them as they leave college? With all the wisdom, all the knowingness, and all the greatness and recognition that they now have of who they are. And I have the wonderful opportunity to shine them up, to take away any rough edges, to tweak a knowingness that isn't quite on the mark. All done in love. Love. We keep preaching to be love, to act from love, to think from love. And the reason why is because love is the highest frequency, and we are moving you into a higher state of recognition and acceptance of higher frequencies. Love is the answer to everything. Love is the opposite from war. In love, there are all things, all colors, all numbers, all symbols. Everything is in love. And people miss that because love is only a 4-letter word and it's so simple, and you are taught from a very early age to use love as a tool to manipulate. I will love you if you just get me a glass of water. I promise you, because I love you so much, I'll give that habit up. If you eat that bread, I'll read you a bedtime story.
Conditional love.
Yes, and you started upon your planet at a very, very, very early stage. And why? Because those who have been in control have taught you that when you start at a very early age, it's much easier to program. So you see, your programming is not just some great thing that happened when you got older. The programming literally started practically the day that you were born. And then you add lifetimes on top of that, so the layers just in layers and the layers and the layers. And dearest one, when you think about the work that you have done over the years, think how many layers, different layers that represent different aspects of self and fears and doubt and lack of confidence and all of these things that have been built into you as a child because someone told you over and over that that is the way it was. And through belief, you were taken to always believe what those in a more heightened position has told you is the truth. And because your DNA was all discombobulated, you say, all right. And that's what we're dealing with now. There have been so many lifetimes when people have sort of found the comfort zone, no matter what class or what dimension or what consciousness they're holding. They have their little comfort zone. And to step out of that is very fearful because they have heard stories. They have heard stories about how homes have been taken, how people who once had money have no money, how they can plant evidence on you just in order to accomplish what they wish. They have killed to accomplish what they wish. And you have all of that. You have all of that within your cells, within your memory, within your conscious and subconscious. And so we are working and diligently to move these things and allow these things to be gone. Not released, gone. And the more you are conscious of it, the more you can step forward and say, wow, I really need to get rid of this. With no fear. Oh, they're going to judge me, or I probably shouldn't be like that, or I should be more evolved by now. Because it is only you, dearest ones, only you that can make the greatest change within you by calling forth what it is that you want. Not because of what Susie down the street or your best friend, Hannah, is experiencing. Because when everything moves forward, you will not be doing the same things. So what your consciousness needs to be focused on will be very, very, very different. And even the energies and frequencies of those experiences could be very, very different. So you must not judge, not only others, you must judge nothing. Nothing. And if there are going to be words that replace judgment, then allow them to be allowance and acceptance. Allowance and acceptance. No judgment. No judgment. Who are you to even judge yourself? You are a divine being of the Father, dearest ones. You breathe because He allows you the breath of life. Do you understand how divine you are? You are just not a casual human being. You are a magnificent, divine human being, made to be exactly the way you are. You spend so much time trying to change and be what you feel you need to be. And then you have all the products and all the bamboozle to go with it, to support it. Just know that totally naked as you are a divine being, magnificent, creative soul from the Father. You were created from Source. How can you question yourselves? How can you question yourselves? And we're in awe of you. When you wake up in the morning and you come out and you say, wow, I feel so different today. My consciousness, I feel so clear today. And we are so happy for those moments. But we also ask, when will those moments be accepted as just normal gifts that are going to keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming, dearest ones? Will you always come out and say, wow, I feel so different? Or will there be a time when you say, wow, I feel so absolutely wonderful in this moment, and leave it, and leave it? Do you see? Do you understand that new students, they need to talk about everything? They need to ground the information. They need to construct their whole understanding around everything. They need to get it down pat. They need to know their schedule. They need to know their subjects. But the older students, they know. They can do several things at once. And they still get their work done. They know all the subjects. They've been doing them for 4 years. And that's sort of where you are. You're the advanced students that are now turning into professors, to the teachers, to the way showers. And you feel very comfortable We need you to feel very, very, very comfortable with your newness, because it's not going to stop. And it's going to increase. Because now you've got 1 foot in the old and 1 foot in the new. All right? So you still feel a little comfortable. You just have to sort of lean yourself back a little bit and you feel the old comfort. And then you lean forward a little bit and you've got all the newness and you're beginning to feel comfortable with that. But there will come a time when you step further through the doorway, dearest ones, and that which is behind you of the 3D will no longer be there, and you will be surrounded in the 5th, 6th, 7th dimensions of thought, of life, of understanding, of knowing, of feeling, being, reacting, responding, receiving, adjusting. Oh my goodness. And we will be there. It's not like you're walking into a conference room all by yourself. We're going to greet you and be with you the whole way, as we always have been. But when you have more consciousness, to know that indeed we are with you, that we are really with you, well, my dear, then there isn't anything we can't accomplish. And allow that love of family to grow. There's nothing better. Just nothing better. We see you on the ships. We pass you in the halls. And you're very polite and you always say hello. But there's a spark about you. You don't have the personalities that you normally do when you're whole, in your conscious wholeness. And we are all looking forward to that. We have been very fortunate to even see you or be in your presence upon the ships. But the day that there is consciousness, a knowingness, a reaction, oh my Lord, how wondrous that will be. It has been a long haul, not only for those of us on the higher dimensions, dearest ones, but for you, struggling through the muck, struggling through the 3rd dimension, struggling through the density of feeling in your heart of hearts, this is not right. So, we all hold hands. We all hold hands, and we all set our intentions as we move into this January 1st of your year, 2016. The number 9. Finish. And when you finish anything, as most of you know, there is always another door that opens, and so be it. And in the opening of this door, there will be such a brilliance. Make sure to bring your sunglasses, dearest ones, for you will need them, and maybe even a sun hat. Of course, I gesture. But indeed, it is going to be a magnificent celebration, no matter how it actually unfolds. We know it's a victory. So I would say have as much fun as you can. You know it's a victory, so let's have as much fun as we can. Let's do as much as we can. Let's integrate as much as we can. Let's be all as much as we can be in the I Am presence. And if you can do that, I would say you're pretty set. Do everything your inner tuition guides you to do. Do not feel forced to socialize if the moment of the party arrives and you do not feel like going. Honor yourself enough to call your friend and explain with love the truth. And it will be understood, for we are moving into that understanding, that new vein of working with the heart. My area. My area. You all are doing beautifully, beautifully. All right, dearest ones. Unless there is something further that I can help you with, I believe that I will take my departure. This has been a very unexpected pleasure, and my love integrated into this session that has been recorded. I will put very special fairy dust and allow any special love, thoughts and desires and connection to my energies to exist. And so be it. Namaste.
Namaste.
And we will meet and we will communicate soon, dearest ones. My love to you.